All right. Hey, everyone. Welcome back. You know how much we all love our subscriptions, right? I mean, who doesn't? They're everywhere these days. Streaming services, meal kits, you name it. But are we really getting the most bang for our buck? That's what we're diving into today, folks. We're taking this super interesting article all about how to max out the value of your subscriptions, and we're going to really squeeze out all the juicy bits.
It's funny how we tend to just focus on the main thing a subscription gives us.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I can watch all these movies, or hey, I get all these ingredients delivered to my door.
Right, right.
But there's this whole other layer, like a secret world of perks and benefits that we totally miss out on. It's
Yeah.
crazy.
Okay, so we're talking about going beyond the surface, digging a little deeper, and finding these hidden savings and bonuses and stuff.
Exactly. It's like there's this whole game being played, and we don't even know the rules.
Yeah.
And guess what? The article actually points out that companies kind of want us to find these bulks.
Really?
Well, think about it. When you feel like you're getting more than just the basic service, you're probably going to stick around longer.
Yeah, that makes sense. I'm way less likely to cancel if I feel like I'm getting a good deal.
Exactly. It's all about keeping us engaged, happy customers. They want to make us feel like we're in on something special, like a VIP club or something.
So they're practically begging us to be smarter subscribers. I'm ready to join this club. Tell me, where do we even begin? I know one of the first things the article mentioned was discounts and bundled savings.
Right.
But honestly, that feels kind of obvious, doesn't it? I mean, everybody knows about those yearly discounts.
Sure. Yeah. Annual plans are everywhere.
Yeah.
But I think there's a deeper level of strategy here that we need to talk about.
Okay, I'm intrigued. Spill the tea.
So let's say you're thinking about signing up for a music streaming service,
Oh
right?
yeah, I'm always thinking about music. Haha.
Don't just look at that monthly price tag. Think bigger, think annually. Calculate the total cost for the whole year for different plans.
Oh, I see where you're going with this.
Sometimes you'll find that premium plan with all the bells and whistles ends up being cheaper in the long run because the yearly discount, way cheaper than the basic one if you actually do the math.
Yeah, that's a good point. It's like tricking your brain into saving money by planning ahead,
Exactly. Outsmart the system.
Okay, I like it. But what about bundled offers? Those are everywhere these days. Cable TV, internet, phone. Is there a trick to finding the best ones?
Oh, bundled offers. Yeah, they could be a lifesaver, but honestly, they can be a bit of a headache too. It's easy to get totally overwhelmed with all the options.
Ugh. Yeah, tell me about it.
But here's the key. Be brutally honest with yourself. What do you actually need and use? Do you really need 500 channels on your cable package, or are you good with just a few key streaming services?
So before you even start comparing bundles, you need to figure out what you actually value.
Yep. Otherwise, you're just throwing money away on stuff you'll never use. And speaking of getting the most value, the article talks about exclusive deals and early access.
Ooh, yeah, yeah. It mentioned that. It's like they're giving us VIP passes to a whole world of savings.
Exactly. And you know what? Membership programs like Amazon Prime and Costco, they're perfect examples. They give their members these secret discounts and sales that the general public totally misses out on.
Okay, that makes sense. They want to reward you for being a loyal member. But I'm also curious about this early access thing. Is that really such a big deal? I mean, do people actually care?
You'd be surprised. For certain products, it's a huge deal. Like imagine new tech gadgets, those limited edition fashion items, or even like concert tickets. People go crazy for early access.
Yeah, okay, I can see that. It's like if you don't get it now, you might miss out forever. FOMO, am I right?
Totally. But beyond that, it can actually change how we shop and how much we spend.
Okay, how so?
Well, knowing about those exclusive deals can make you way more careful about your spending habits. Let's say you're a Prime member and you know Prime Day is coming up. Instead of just buying stuff all year round, you might hold off on certain purchases, knowing you'll probably snag a way better deal during those big sale events.
So it's like having a built-in budgeting system in a way.
Exactly. You're basically training yourself to be patient and wait for those big savings. Pretty clever.
Right. That's really smart. And it makes you think about subscriptions differently, too. I mean, we tend to think of them as these passive expenses, but they can actually be powerful tools for shaping our financial behavior, like you were saying.
100%. And it all starts with being aware of those perks and those hidden benefits that we've been talking about.
You're listening to The Deep Dive, and we're getting strategic about our subscriptions. And I have to admit, the next topic in this article kind of threw me for a loop. It claims that subscriptions can actually boost your financial health. Can you, like, elaborate on that a little? Because honestly, I'm a bit skeptical.
I get it. I get it. It sounds a little counterintuitive, right? But trust me, there's some truth to it. Think about credit monitoring services, for example.
Oh,
Okay, yeah. Subscriptions like Credit Karma or Experian Boost, they can play a big role in improving your credit score.
really?
Yeah, they keep tabs on your credit report, they'll warn you about any potential problems, and some even give you tools to help build a good credit history.
Okay, I know about credit monitoring, but how can they actually make your score better? That's what I don't get.
All right, let's take Experian Boost as an example.
Okay.
You can connect your bank account to your credit report, so Experian can see all those positive payment habits you have, like when you pay your utility bills on time, your streaming services, stuff like that.
Right.
Usually, those payments aren't even factored into your credit score. But with this boost thing, they can give your score a nice little bump, especially if you're new to credit or you don't have a lot of credit history yet.
Wow, that's amazing. I never thought my Netflix subscription could actually help my credit score. But is there a catch? I mean, can anyone do this?
Well, it's not like a magic solution for everyone. Experian Boost is a specific service from Experian. And some people might not feel comfortable sharing their bank info, which is totally understandable.
Right.
And credit scores, they're complicated. It's not just about one thing.
Lots of factors involved, yeah.
Exactly. But for someone who's just starting out with credit or maybe trying to fix some past credit mistakes, this could be a really helpful tool.
So it's all about being informed and weighing the pros and cons for your own situation. But it's pretty amazing to think something you're already paying for can potentially have these positive effects on your finances overall.
Right. It really changes how we think about subscriptions.
Big time.
They're not just expenses, they can be opportunities.
Speaking of opportunities, the article also mentioned how subscriptions can save you time and money in the long run. I totally get the time-saving part, but how does that actually translate to, like, financial savings?
Okay, think about meal kit services for a second.
Okay.
At first glance, you see that weekly fee and think, oh, that's another expense.
Right.
But those pre-portioned ingredients, the recipe's all ready to go, they can actually save you money compared to like constantly going to the grocery store, buying way too much food, and then ending up with a fridge full of wilted lettuce and like questionable leftovers. You know what I mean?
Oh, I'm so guilty of that. I always overestimate how much I'm going to cook, and then I'm throwing out half of the groceries I just bought. So you're saying those meal kits could actually cut down on food waste, which is like a huge money waster.
100%. Plus, think about the mental energy you save. Planning meals, trying to figure out what to cook every night, it's exhausting.
Oh, it really is.
Meal kits, they take that stress away. You're basically outsourcing a piece of your mental load.
And that is a valuable service. They say time is money for a reason, but are there other examples of subscriptions that, seem kind of pricey up front but end up saving you money over time?
Oh, totally. Think about streaming services versus cable.
Okay.
Cutting the cord, going with a streaming bundle, it's almost always cheaper, especially if you're smart about which services you pick and, maybe switch them up every now and then.
So it's not just about that initial price, it's about the big picture, the overall cost, and how it all fits into your budget.
And don't forget things like fitness apps. That monthly fee might seem like a splurge,
Yeah.
but if it gets you moving, keeps you exercising regularly, it could actually save you money in the long run. Think about all those expensive gym memberships, those fancy boutique fitness classes you might not be doing if you had that app motivating you at home.
It's all about challenging those assumptions, right? Like, is this really an expense or is it an investment?
Exactly. We had to look beyond the surface, see the bigger picture, and so far we've been focusing on the financial side of things, but this article, it hints at other valuable benefits too. Benefits that go beyond just saving a few bucks.
Oh, interesting. Like,
Well, one area that I think gets overlooked way too often is educational subscriptions. Platforms like Skillshare and Masterclass, they're gold mines for knowledge.
yeah, I've heard of those.
They offer so many opportunities to learn, to grow. You can learn a new language, master a creative skill, or even gain some serious business knowledge. And that can have a huge impact on your life, way beyond just money.
Yeah, it's like you're investing in yourself, right? Building skills, opening up new possibilities, new opportunities.
Exactly. Sometimes the best return on investment isn't about your bank account. It's about personal growth.
This deep dive is blowing my mind. I'm looking at subscriptions in a whole new light now. We've covered so much ground already, but I'm ready for more.
Me too.
In our next segment, we're going to delve into cashback, rewards, and flexibility. We'll uncover some seriously surprising perks that you probably haven't even considered. So stick around, folks. Welcome back to the deep dive. We're knee-deep in this whole world of hidden perks and potential savings you can find with your subscriptions. Well, I guess not really a break, but before we moved on, we were talking about those educational subscriptions and how they can be really valuable in ways that go beyond just, straight up cash. It got me thinking, are there other types of subscriptions that can offer that kind of like personal growth or just a feeling of being more well-rounded? You know what I mean?
There totally are. And that's such a good point to bring up because we do tend to get so focused on like the concrete stuff, like, oh, how much money am I saving? What kind of discounts can I get? But there's so much more to it than that. Like, think about subscriptions that connect you with other people, communities, shared interests, stuff like
Yeah.
that. There are these book subscription boxes that'll introduce you to new authors and genres you might never have discovered on your own. And there are all those online fitness communities where you can find support and motivation to actually stick with your workouts. That sense of connection can be so powerful.
Totally. It's like that feeling you get when you join a book club or a running group or something, but it's like more personalized, It's
Yeah,
tailored to you. It
that's
makes
right.
those monthly payments feel less like, ugh, another bill, and more like you're investing in something that really matters.
Right.
Okay, so we've got those educational subscriptions and the community-based ones. What other categories of like those beyond the obvious perks should we have on our radar?
Well, let's talk about cashback, rewards, and flexibility. The article really dug into how you can maximize those and make your subscriptions work even harder for you.
Oh, yeah, it mentioned that. Okay, I'm ready. Give me all the details. Cashback and rewards. Let's start there. I know some credit cards give you cash back on certain purchases, but is there a way to really make the most of that, specifically for subscriptions?
Oh, there definitely is. There are credit cards out there that are practically made for people who love subscriptions. They'll give you a higher percentage back or bonus points for things like streaming services, meal kits, software, you name it. It's like free money.
No way. So, like, I could be earning 5% back on my Spotify subscription just by using a different credit card.
Yep. Something like that, yeah.
Yeah.
And then there are those cashback platforms and rewards programs you can use too.
Yeah.
Websites like Rakuten and Honey, they partner with tons of companies, including subscription services, so you can get even more cashback, discounts, points, all sorts of goodies.
It's like a secret society of smart shoppers. I love it.
Mm.
Okay, so we've got the cashback and rewards angle covered. What about flexibility? How does that play into getting the most out of your subscriptions?
Flexibility is all about having control over your subscriptions. It's about not feeling trapped or like you're spending too much. And there are a few ways to do that. First, try to look for those pay-as-you-go models whenever you can. You see it a lot with phone plans, but now it's popping up with other stuff too, like project management software or cloud storage. So instead of paying a flat fee every month, you only pay for what you actually use.
Right. That's super smart, especially for stuff that you might not need all the time. But what about those subscriptions that don't offer that, like pay-as-you-go option? Are you just kind of stuck with that monthly fee?
Not necessarily. A lot of subscriptions will let you hit pause for a bit if you need to. Let's say you're going on vacation next month and won't be using your meal kit service. Instead of canceling and having to go through that whole rigmarole of signing up again when you get back, just pause it.
Oh, that's a good tip. It's like putting those recurring payments on hold without losing all your membership perks.
Yeah.
Okay, so there's this one thing about flexibility that I kind of hate even thinking about, but we got to talk about it. Auto renewals. Ugh. Those sneaky little charges, I swear they always get me. It's like they're designed to make you forget you're even paying for something.
I know, right? Auto renewals, they can seriously mess with your budget if you're not paying attention. The article stressed how important it is to stay on top of those. I put reminders in my calendar a few days before anything's about to renew. That way I have time to cancel if I need to or, maybe adjust my plan or whatever.
Ooh, that's smart. Like setting little traps for yourself so you don't fall into the auto renewal pit of despair.
Exactly. You got to outsmart the system.
Are there any apps or anything that can help with that? Because honestly, I need all the help I can get when it comes to managing those auto renewals.
There are. There are these apps specifically designed to help you keep track of all your subscriptions. They'll send you alerts before things renew, and some even let you cancel right from the app. Have you heard of Rocket Money? It used to be called Truebill.
No, I don't think so.
It's pretty cool. It connects to your bank accounts, finds all your subscriptions, and gives you this super clear overview of where all your money's going. You can manage everything right there, canceling, changing plans, whatever you need.
That's amazing. I'm going to check that out for sure. Okay, so we've talked about cashback, rewards, and flexibility. What other surprises does this article have in store for us? Because it hinted at some pretty unexpected benefits, right?
Oh, yeah, it did. And this is where things get really interesting. One perk that often gets overlooked is the possibility of tax deductions.
Wait, what? Seriously?
Seriously, like how does that even work?
Well, if you use certain subscriptions for work, you might be able to write them off on your taxes. This is especially useful for freelancers, entrepreneurs, anyone who works from home, really.
So like my Adobe Creative Cloud subscription, the one I use for graphic design, that could actually save me money come tax time. If you're using it to create things for your business to generate income, then yeah, it could. It becomes a legitimate business expense.
Hmm.
And it's not just limited to software. Think about things like accounting software, project management tools, even online courses, or professional development subscriptions that can help you level up your skills.
Wow, my mind is blown. I never even thought about subscriptions like that. But I bet there are like rules about what actually qualifies as a deduction, right?
You're totally right. It's always a good idea to talk to a tax professional,
Yep.
just to make sure you're doing everything by the book and not missing out on any deductions. But the main takeaway here is that those work-related subscriptions, they're not just draining your bank account, they can be investments in your career, and they might have some nice tax benefits too.
This deep dive is full of surprises. What other unexpected perks are we missing out on?
All right, this one might surprise you. The article talked about the potential health and wellness benefits of certain subscriptions.
Okay, now I'm really intrigued.
I'm not talking about those fitness apps we talked about earlier, though those are great too. I'm talking about subscriptions that can impact your overall well-being, like mentally and physically. Think more holistic.
Oh, wow. Okay. Give me some examples because I'm drawing a blank here.
Think about telemedicine platforms. You know, those subscriptions that give you access to virtual doctor's visits, usually for way less than what you'd pay for a traditional in-person appointment.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
This can be a huge help for people who have high deductible health plans, or maybe they don't have a lot of options for healthcare providers in their area, or maybe they just prefer the convenience of virtual care.
That makes a lot of sense. And I see how that could reduce stress and just make you feel better overall, especially if you're someone who gets anxious about going to the doctor or has trouble getting to appointments. Are there other subscriptions like that that can, boost your well-being?
Absolutely. Think about mental health apps or those online therapy services. They give you affordable access to licensed therapists, counselors, mental health resources, and you often have the option of messaging or video chat too, which can be really convenient.
Wow, it's amazing to think that subscriptions can play a role in taking care of your mental health. It really makes you reconsider that whole idea of subscriptions being, just frivolous expenses. What other surprises did the article have up its sleeve?
Well, this last category is all about how our subscriptions can reflect our values and even have a positive impact on the world around us. It talks about the environmental and ethical side of things.
Ooh, okay, that's not something I've ever considered before. How can subscriptions be eco-friendly or ethical?
You'd be surprised by how many options there are. One simple thing is choosing digital subscriptions over print. So instead of getting a physical newspaper or magazine, switch to the digital version. Saves trees and reduces waste.
Oh, yeah, right. I did that a while ago, and it feels good knowing I'm not contributing to all that paper clutter.
Hmm.
What else is out there?
Well, think about transportation. There are memberships for electric vehicle charging stations that encourage people to drive electric cars, which of course helps cut back on those nasty fossil fuels. And those ride-sharing subscriptions, they can make it easier and more affordable to carpool or take public transportation, which can help with emissions and traffic.
That's a good point. It's like they're promoting more sustainable habits without you even realizing it. It make you think more carefully about what you're supporting with your subscriptions. Are there other ways they can align with your values?
Totally. There's this whole movement towards ethical and sustainable consumption these days, and subscriptions are becoming a part of that. There are clothing rental subscriptions where you can try out new styles without contributing to fast fashion and all that textile waste. And then there are those subscription boxes that focus on eco-friendly and ethically sourced products, everything from household goods to personal care items.
So it's about using your spending habits to support businesses that are doing good in the world, even with your subscriptions. Man, this deep dive has been eye-opening. I'm looking at subscriptions in a whole new light now. But before we wrap things up, I gotta ask, are there any downsides to all this? Any risks we should be aware of? It can't all be good, right? Yeah, you're right. It can't all be perfect. What are some of the things we should watch out for when it comes to subscriptions?
Well, one of the biggest traps is something people call subscription fatigue.
Subscription fatigue.
Yeah, it's easy to get caught up in the excitement, all these cool services, all these perks we've been talking about, and you just want to sign up for everything.
Oh, yeah. I've definitely been there.
But then you end up with a ton of subscriptions, and you realize you're not even using half of them. And that monthly bill, it starts to feel a lot less fun.
It's like death by a thousand recurring payments, right? A free trial here, a discount there, and suddenly your bank account is crying for help.
Exactly. That's why you got to be smart about it. Really think about what you're signing up for. Go through your subscriptions every so often. See what you're actually using, what you can maybe cut back on, or if there's something cheaper out there. Don't be afraid to try new things,
Yeah.
but also don't be afraid to say, hey, this isn't working for me anymore.
So it's not just about finding those hidden perks, it's also about avoiding those hidden costs, like those sneaky auto renewals or just plain forgetting that you're even paying for something.
Exactly. Be a conscious consumer. Take control of your subscriptions before they start controlling you.
Well said. So, as we wrap up our deep dive into all these amazing secret perks of subscriptions, what's the big takeaway? What do you want our listeners to remember?
I think the most important thing is to realize that there's more to subscriptions than meets the eye. Don't just look at the basic service. Look beyond that. Find those hidden benefits, those extra perks that can really make a difference in your life. Whether you're saving money, being more productive, improving your health, or even doing your part for the planet, subscriptions can offer so much more than we realize.
It's like finding those secret levels in a video game, right? There's a
Yeah.
whole world of awesome stuff just waiting to be discovered.
That's a great way to put it. And remember, it's not just about which subscriptions you have, it's about how you use them.
Mhm.
Be strategic, do your research, and don't be afraid to try new things.
So true. You can't just set it and forget it. You got to actively manage those subscriptions to make sure they're working for you, not the other way around.
Exactly. Here's something to think about. What if your subscriptions could actually pay for themselves? See if you can find at least one hidden perk in each of your subscriptions this week. I bet you'll be surprised by what you find.
That's a great challenge. I'm definitely going to be taking a closer look at my own subscriptions tonight. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the world of subscriptions, everyone. Until next time, stay curious and keep squeezing out all that extra value.